Karma is about choices. Karma is about consciousness. Karma is about what choices am I choosing to respond, or am I choosing to react? Am I choosing to listen, or am I choosing to absorb it all? It is choices, it is the subtlest shifts in awareness. If all of you keep transferring back and forth your pain, your anger and disappointment onto each other, to each other's families, and keep being stuck in the loop of disappointment, it is this that keeps you repetitively in this pattern. The behavioral modification of needing a dramatic attitude check within ourselves isn't something that we often think about. If I am angry because my brother or my sister, and this has been a pattern, then you will never be free from your brother. You will never be free from your husband. You will never be free from not being hurt. You're never going to be free from that disappointment. You have made a commitment that the ego and the limbic system has said, you and I are going to be continuously dissatisfied and unhappy with this person and that person and that person and that person. And so this unspoken contract that continuously reinactivates itself. My husband never listens to me. My wife never seems to hear me. My job doesn't seem to see me. It means we have bought into these repetitive patterns of behavior instead of why? Why am I not hearing myself? Am I not hearing myself? Is that the reason others do not hear me? Why do I feel so abandoned or rejected? Is it because I do not know myself? The greatest epidemic, one could say, is we've lost the natural rhythm and movement of our own soul. If a person truly understood the rhythms of their own soul, their own being, their karma would be very little. They would not be acting out relationships with our spouses and our jobs and with our children, as these are all reflections of ourselves. They are reflections of ourselves because we've walked away from the single primal force that is ourselves, the part of ourselves that is God. Within us lies the soul that continuously tries to communicate. Your world, whatever that might be, that certainly could be your children, that could be your government, that could be anything around you, has learned to keep you distracted and on a treadmill. What treadmill are you on? What keeps you preoccupied? What keeps you repetitively moving forward? What are your negative messages? What are you continuously worried about? Whom are you continuously trying to educate? How often are you trying to get on time for being late at work? What repetitive cycles? How often don't you know how to communicate? How often do you feel frustrated communicating with someone else? How often do you feel that you are not seen? How often do you feel? One can go on and on as we continuously reenact the abandonment and issues of separations with others and cultures and governments, and continuously keeping ourselves preoccupied with their repetitive patterns of behavior. I would strongly suggest you write down every one of your repetitive patterns of behavior. May that be communication, may that be financially, may that be whatever that will be. Become aware of the cycles of repetition. As individuals who desire to understand their own karma are truly needing to understand repetition, repetition, repetition. What is your repetition? Gratitude is what can break a part of our repetition. Meaning that, yes, indeed, I need to make a choice that I must communicate differently with the people within my life. But I need to do 3 fundamental things within my life. First, I must recognize what are my repetitions, even if I cannot strike them all at once. But I need to be consciously aware so that my neural pathways within my brain can start reprogramming themselves, and that my limbic system begins to literally chant a different mantra than this dreaded mantra that it's currently repeating. So first, what is your repeated issues within your life? No matter if it is communication, no matter if it is financially, it doesn't really matter. Are you lost? Are you confused? What is your repetitive behavior? It defines and stops and gradually halts the train of karma that is moving into the future. And we are putting the brakes on the future of our karma and saying, whoa, I wish to change this reality. I wish to change this outcome. The second part in moving forward in our liberation is how we react. Our reactions and how we choose to react. I can respond or I can react. I can listen and I can respond. I can listen, but it doesn't mean I need to engage. I can listen, doesn't mean I need to be offended. I have a choice and become aware of what is the first thing that services my mind. If I feel injured by most things, I will count to 10 and let the first firing of neural pathways bypass me. Meaning, if I feel hurt because a group does not include me, a wife doesn't kiss me, a husband who doesn't acknowledge, a child that is angry, within us lies emotional reactions. They have become, and they've literally become to define whom we are. When a person counts to 10, as odd as this sounds, they are opening up a doorway where karma can change. If I know that my wife will respond, or my son, or the circumstances within my life, I know I will feel hurt. I know I will feel injured. I will feel hurt or offended. If in that moment I simply say, Om namah shivaya, Om namah shivaya, Om namah, depending on how big it is, Om namah shivaya. Om, the vibration of the world, namah shivaya, meaning I bow to the God within myself. I won't injure myself. I know that I have 10 seconds to change the repetitive behavior of my brain and my neural pathways, but most of all, I'm just interested in changing my karma.